Today will start like any other day for so many millions of people around the world. Traffic-filled commutes on the way to work, school children playing boisterously, old friends catching up for an overdue lunch. Everything is as it always has been, and yet somehow nothing was about to ever be the same again. The face of the planet and the path of mankind altered forever as humanity is thrust into the apocalypse. Since the days of Leonardo da Vinci and Nostradamus, prognosticators and scientists alike have researched and debated on what exactly would be the great cataclysm that would end humanity as we know it. Now, obviously, there's no way to know for sure, which only leaves the door open for more imaginative ideas straight out of Hollywood, like alien invasions, zombie takeovers, and out-of-control monsters. However, there are some very real threats to our way of life as we know it, and they really do deserve to be taken seriously. Mankind officially enters the atomic age on July 16, 1945, when the gadget was dropped at the Trinity test site in the New Mexico desert. In a mere 3 weeks' time, the United States would drop Little Boy on Hiroshima, and 3 days later, Fat Man was dropped on Nagasaki, and they would effectively bring about an end to World War II. Fortunately, these would be the only 2 times in history nuclear bombs would be used in war, but the testing, well, that was only beginning, as the ensuing nuclear arms race would last nearly 50 years, drawing over a dozen countries and include an astounding 2,100 tests worldwide. Entering the Cold War era, as tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union escalated, so too did their desire to create and possess the most powerful and devastating weapons known to humanity, leading to an all-out sprint by both superpowers to develop the next class of superweapon, known as thermonuclear or hydrogen bombs. The explosion resulting from a hydrogen bomb can be over 1,000 times greater than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, and can be 3 to 4 times hotter than the sun. By the mid-1960s, both sides had accumulated enough weaponry to completely annihilate the other, and the ability to launch a second strike, virtually assuring any attack would also lead to devastation of their own, thus restraining them from attacking the other. This theory would come to be known as mutually assured destruction, an ideology best described in this clip from the 1983 movie War Games. After a NORAD computer runs simulations on a nuclear attack and subsequent counterattack, its conclusion? A strange game. The only winning move is not to play. While numerous pacts and treaties have been agreed upon to drastically reduce and eventually eliminate nuclear weapons, there are still an estimated 13,000 nuclear weapons in inventories around the world today. But realistically, the likelihood of nuclear war breaking out remains extremely low. Mutually assured destruction pretty much assures that. But considering the current geopolitical unrest we see in the world, it can never be ruled out, and if used, could undoubtedly bring about a truly apocalyptic reality. Blockbuster Hollywood movies like Deep Impact, Greenland, and Armageddon have provided viewers with fantastical perceptions of what a large-scale event like this would look like. But you may be shocked to find out this isn't actually where the most significant threat to humanity lies. Don't get me wrong, an event like this is a planet killer, full stop. But considering that currently the most likely known impact of this variety is over 150 years away, we'll leave those depictions to Hollywood for now. More concerning, however, according to recently published research, there are an estimated 17,000 meteorite impacts with Earth every year. Most meteorites are little more than dust by the time they've passed through the Earth's atmosphere, incinerating upon their descent. But many other fragments do survive, and can vary in size from just a couple ounces to over 20 pounds. Much larger meteorites have been found and are on display all around the world. The Hoba meteorite, located in Namibia, was found in 1920 by a farmer plowing his field. It is the world's largest intact meteorite, weighing in at an estimated 60 tons. Known as Namibia's fallen star, it was declared a national monument in 1955. The Willamette meteorite, found in Oregon, is the largest found in North America and 8th largest in the world, weighing in at 15.5 tons. Long revered by indigenous peoples of the Willamette Valley, this meteorite now sits at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. While these extraterrestrial visitors truly are an amazing sight, even more astounding is the fact that meteorites of this size enter Earth's atmosphere with a frequency of between 10 and 25 years. In February 2013, a meteorite of this approximate size would create a chaotic scene over the skies of Russia and would be documented like no other meteorite in history. Dash cams, cell phones, and closed-circuit cameras would capture the brilliant tail as it entered the atmosphere at about 42,000 miles an hour. It exploded with a force 30 times greater than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. At a height of 97,000 feet, likely saving the region from more catastrophic damage. Even still, thousands of people were injured from flying glass and debris, more than 3,000 buildings damaged as far as 150 miles away. Now imagine for a moment the utter devastation an impact like this would cause over a major metropolitan area anywhere in the world. The ensuing chaos, loss of life, recovery efforts, and impact such an event would cause to the global financial markets, shipping and receiving essential goods like food and fuel, and it's easy to see just how real a scenario like this could be and how quickly we could find ourselves living out the scene of a movie. What sort of thoughts and emotions come to mind when observing something as amazing as the auroras in the night sky? These breathtaking displays of brilliantly colored lights can appear as magical streaks, dizzying spirals, or even dynamic flickers covering the sky. They are the results of disturbances in the magnetosphere caused by solar wind, when charged particles become ionized in the upper atmosphere, typically close to both poles. What seldom comes to mind, however, is that these same beautiful aerial displays should also be considered a very real warning to an impending cataclysm, capable of altering humanity for generations. As you might imagine, the atmosphere, or corona of the sun, is an incredibly violent place. Made up of streams of hot ionized plasma following strong magnetic fields, these fields break and reconnect all the time, releasing blasts of magnetically charged plasma. Small releases are no more than bright flashes, what we know as solar flares, and provide the charged particles responsible for the auroras. Sometimes these geomagnetic storms can become very large, even bigger than the sun itself. The explosion from a storm this large can send billions of tons of coronal material carrying a magnetic field of plasma barreling through space at speeds over 2 million miles per hour. These explosions are known as coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, and on September 1, 1859, British astronomer Richard Carrington would observe and record the most intense CME in recorded history. The Carrington event, as it would come to be known, started around 11 o'clock that morning when he observed a bright flash of light from a huge sunspot on the sun from his observatory. Approximately 17 hours later, auroras would light up the night sky as bright as the day, as far south as Miami in Mexico. The following day, September 2nd, Earth's magnetosphere would be stripped away by the CME, causing chaos, as electrical connections and telegraph lines around the world would begin to short out, sending sparks flying and even catching fire. Reports of telegraph operators being burned and even shocked were widespread, but odder still, even after being disconnected from their power sources, not only did the telegraph still work, but they now worked even better than ever. But why? Solar storms are capable of inducing current in any medium that conducts electricity, like types of rocks, minerals, and even our atmosphere. So what would make this encounter with the CME any different than all of the previous in our planet's history? Electrical wires. They are excellent conductors of electricity, and up until this point, civilization was pretty much, well, wireless. But plans for the first long-range communication and electric transmission lines were already being developed and planned, millions of miles of lines being installed, thus assuring humanity's inevitable collision with another Carrington event sometime in our future. Much smaller CMEs have hit Earth in recent years. In 1989, parts of Canada and Russia were left powerless for about 8 hours when power grids went down. And again in 2003, parts of the northern U.S. and Canada were left in the dark for about 12 hours. In July of 2012, a CME equivalent to the Carrington event missed hitting Earth by just 9 days. Humanity was spared that time, but what can we expect when Earth is hit with another Carrington event? Leading experts in the field don't have great news. First thing to go is radio signals, and not just the ones we listen to in our cars either. Signals used by planes to traffic controllers and ships with the ports on shore, all gone, leaving them operating blind. Radar, GPS systems, cell phone signals, the next to go, as Earth's atmosphere is blasted with highly charged particles. After a few hours, the atmosphere becomes so saturated, power lines become supercharged and begin to short out huge transformers and power stations, setting them ablaze. Entire power grids go down simultaneously around the world. Daniel Baker of the University of Colorado is quoted, "If an event of that size were to occur today, the effects by most estimates would be devastating. Large regions of the globe could be plunged into darkness and hobbled with technology failures, from widespread power outages to loss of communication systems, to GPS navigation failures and damage to satellites. No power, no communications, no running water. Practically every critical infrastructure known to man brought to a screeching halt, and not just for a few hours either." Professor Ying Li at the Laboratory of Space Weather estimated that the recovery time from such an impact could be between 4 to 10 years. Some researchers even believe this will lead to a complete societal breakdown. But surely an event like this is rare and there's no real need to worry, right? Researchers now estimate that there's about a 12% chance per decade of seeing a CME of this scale. And perhaps most sobering of all, we are fast approaching the solar maximum of our current solar cycle, a time of peak activity on the sun's surface in the year 2025, only increasing our chances of experiencing a Carrington event firsthand. Mankind has faced existential threats like this in our past, and will again in our future. Of that we can be sure. Will we be responsible for our own downfall, or is it simply a matter of fate running its course? As humanity marches into the unknown of tomorrow, I'll leave you with the most important question. Will you be ready? Psst. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and comment down below. Your feedback really helps us make this channel better for you.